Hitler successfully remilitarized the Rhineland and also united Germany and Austria. Next he turned his attention to Czechoslovakia. Before we examine the Czech Crisis of 1938, we need to look at some background information about Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia was created in 1919. The country comprised of various national groups: Germans, Czechs, Slovaks, Magyars, Ruthenes, and Poles. No wonder then that Czechoslovakia experienced conflicts right from the start. Especially the Slovaks and the Germans disliked Czech control. The Czechs lived mainly in Bohemia and Moravia. The Slovaks lived mainly in Slovakia and most of the Germans lived in the Sudetenland. Many of these Germans supported the Sudeten German People's Party, led by Konrad Henlein. He was determined that the Sudetenland should become part of Germany. The Czech government, however, was determined to hold on to the Sudetenland. This area, on the border of Germany, had valuable resources and strong border defenses. Moreover, the Czech government feared that other nationalities would also demand independence if the Sudetenland is handed over to Germany. The Nazi Party in Germany had close contact with the Sudeten German People's Party, who was nothing but a Nazi party with a different name. From 1938, Hitler openly supported Henlein's demands for the transfer of the Sudetenland to Germany. In April 1938, Hitler gave orders to the German army to prepare for the invasion of Czechoslovakia. At the same time, Hitler instructed Henlein to stir up trouble in the Sudetenland that would give the German army an excuse to occupy the Sudetenland, to supposedly maintain order. This was a risky strategy on the part of Germany. Czechoslovakia had a powerful army and was also allied to France and the USSR. However, France was not ready for war. She needed 2 more years to prepare sufficiently. The USSR suffered from great political and economic difficulties at the time, as a consequence of the purges and Stalin's rapid modernization policies. Germany was also safe from opposition from Britain, who followed a policy of appeasement. This meant that she was prepared to give Hitler's demands some consideration, in order to avoid war. Czechoslovakia was not willing to face Germany alone, and therefore wanted to avoid war at all costs. By September 1938 it looked like there may once again be war in Europe, with Germany aiming to take the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia. Neville Chamberlain, the British Prime Minister, therefore decided to go to Germany to meet with Hitler in order to find a solution to the issue. He believed that negotiations with Hitler could avert possible conflict. It was an attempt to avoid war and typical of the British attempts at appeasement. Chamberlain met Hitler at Berchtesgaden. Here Chamberlain agreed that Czechoslovakia should hand over to Germany all areas of the Sudetenland, where more than half of the population was German. Chamberlain subsequently went back to Britain to make preparations for the transition. Chamberlain persuaded France, and then also Czechoslovakia, to accept the arrangement. Beneš, the Czech Prime Minister, reluctantly accepted, as he did not want Czechoslovakia to fight Germany alone. Chamberlain then returned to Germany to inform Hitler that the arrangement has been accepted, and to work out the details of the transfer. Chamberlain met Hitler at Bad Godesberg. This time Hitler had new demands. He now wanted all of the Sudetenland. Hitler also wanted some land to be given to Poland. In addition, Hitler also wanted land to be given to the Magyars of Hungary. Chamberlain rejected these new demands. He flew back to Britain and immediately started to prepare for war. At this point Mussolini entered the scene. He wanted to avoid war at all costs as Italy was not ready to support her ally Germany in possible military conflict. Mussolini proposed a 4-power conference where Italy, Germany, Britain and France could discuss the issue and come up with an acceptable solution. And so, at the end of September 1938, the four powers met in Munich to discuss Hitler's demands over Czechoslovakia. Mussolini represented Italy, Dallier represented France, Chamberlain represented Britain, and Hitler represented Germany. This meeting is known as the Munich Conference. Ironically, Czechoslovakia's closest ally, the USSR, was not invited. More outrageously, Czechoslovakia itself was not invited either. Stalin and Beneš were excluded from the Munich Conference. Hitler's demands were met at the Munich Conference. It was agreed that Czechoslovakia should hand over the Sudetenland to Germany, and also give land to Poland and to Hungary. As a result of the Munich Agreement, Beneš resigned. He was replaced as Prime Minister by Emil Acha. In October 1938, German troops occupied the Sudetenland unopposed. This was the beginning of the end of Czechoslovakia. In a separate arrangement, during their time in Munich, Chamberlain and Hitler also made an agreement. Hitler assured Chamberlain that he had no more territorial claims in Europe. This was of course under false pretense, as Hitler ultimately wanted to conquer the rest of Europe. Britain and Germany expressed their desire never to go to war with one another again. Chamberlain and Hitler's agreement is known as the Peace in Our Time paper. Sadly, it was not worth the paper it was written on. During the 1930s, Britain wanted to avoid war at all costs. How? By means of appeasement. Appeasement involves agreeing to reasonable demands in order to prevent war. It means giving in to demands, in order to prevent conflict. The Munich Conference is seen as the focus point of appeasement.